Hello and welcome, future civil servants, to our comprehensive daily current affairs session designed specifically for your USPSC preparation. As we navigate the complex landscape of national and international events, we'll be covering a range of critical topics today, including the significant Trump-China visit, the escalating costs of the Iran war, and key developments in Indian politics, such as the Tamil Nadu Assembly session and the revocation of orders appointing an astrologer as OSD to the CM. These topics are not only relevant to current events, but also hold significance for your exams, particularly in the areas of international relations, polity, and governance. With upcoming exams in mind, it's essential to stay updated on these issues. As we delve into these discussions, I encourage you to take notes and engage with our community by checking the comment section for practice questions and insightful discussions. Let's begin our 20-minute journey through the world of current affairs, and I wish you all the best in your preparations. U.S. President Donald Trump is on his way to Beijing to meet with China's President Xi Jinping, marking a significant visit amid strained trade ties between the two superpowers. This two-day trip, Trump's first since 2017, will include high-stakes talks, a state banquet, and a tea reception. Trump's ambitions have been blunted by court rulings on tariffs, and his goals have narrowed down to a few deals on beans, beef, and Boeing jets. The visit is crucial as it comes at a time when trade relationships between Beijing and Washington have been fraught in recent years. The U.S.-China trade war has been ongoing since 2018, with both countries imposing tariffs on each other's goods. The U.S. has been seeking to reduce its trade deficit with China, which stood at $345 billion in 2020. China, on the other hand, has been trying to protect its domestic industries and maintain its economic growth, which has been slowing down in recent years. Key issues expected to be discussed during the visit include U.S. arms sales to Taiwan, China's controls on rare earth exports, and the country's trade relationship. Trump has also been trying to persuade Beijing to influence Tehran to meet U.S. terms to end the war in Iran. However, before departing from the U.S., Trump stated that he does not think he will need China's help to end the war. The visit is significant for UPSC aspirants, particularly in the context of international relations, which is a part of the GS Paper 2 syllabus. Aspirants should note the importance of the U.S.-China trade war, its impact on global trade, and the role of international organizations such as the World Trade Organization. The visit has significant implications for India, as it can impact the country's trade relationships with both the U.S. and China.
India has been trying to strengthen its trade ties with the U.S., and any developments in the U.S.-China trade war can have a ripple effect on India's trade policies. Aspirants should analyze the impact of the visit on various stakeholders, including India, and consider multiple perspectives, including the geopolitical and economic implications. The Indian government's role in navigating these complex trade relationships will be crucial, and aspirants should be aware of related policies and schemes, such as the Foreign Trade Policy, FTP, and the Make in India initiative. Aspirants should remember that the U.S.-China trade war is a complex issue with far-reaching implications, and any developments in this area can. In other news, the United States Department of Defense, also known as the Pentagon, has announced that the cost of the war with Iran has reached nearly $29 billion. This figure was revealed during a budget hearing on Capitol Hill, where Pentagon Finance Chief Jules Hurst III stated that the Joint Staff Team and the Comptroller Team are constantly reviewing the estimate, and now believe it to be closer to $29 billion. This is about $4 billion higher than the previous estimate given 2 weeks ago. The conflict between the U.S. and Iran has been ongoing, with the U.S. launching airstrikes against Iranian targets in response to attacks on American interests. The situation has been volatile, with a fragile ceasefire in place. The U.S. President, Donald Trump, has faced criticism over the handling of the conflict, with Democrats and other critics questioning the true cost of the war, including damage inflicted by Iran. The Pentagon's calculations have been called into question, with some suggesting that the actual cost could be much higher. The key details of this development include the updated estimate of $29 billion, which includes repair and replacement of equipment costs and broader operational expenses. The hearing on Capitol Hill also saw Democrats pressing for a fuller accounting of the war's costs and objectives. The administration has been criticized for a lack of transparency, with Rosa DeLauro, the top Democrat on the House Appropriations Committee, asking what has been accomplished and at what cost. This development is relevant to the UPSC syllabus, particularly in the context of international relations, which is a key topic in the GS2 paper. Aspirants should note the importance of global conflicts and their economic implications. For prelims, the key points to remember include the updated estimate of $29 billion, the involvement of the U.S. and Iran, and the criticism of the Pentagon's calculations. For mains, aspirants can analyze the impact of the conflict on global stability, the role of the U.S. in international relations, and the economic implications of such conflicts. The conflict between the U.S. and Iran has significant implications for India, particularly in terms of energy security and trade. India is a major importer of oil from Iran, and any disruption to supplies could have a significant impact on the Indian economy. Additionally, the conflict could have broader implications for regional stability, with potential impacts on India's relations with other countries in the region. The Indian government has been watching the situation closely. Now, let's turn our attention to the Tamil Nadu government has revoked its order appointing Rickey Radhan Pandit, Vedivel, an astrologer, as the officer on special duty, political, to Chief Minister C. Joseph Vijay. This decision was made on Wednesday, May 13, 2026, just a day after the initial appointment on Tuesday, May 12, 2026. The move drew severe criticism from various quarters, including allies of the ruling party, TVK, or Thiruvanam Vali Kachi. The criticism stemmed from concerns over the appointment of an astrologer to a key political position, raising questions about the role of superstition in governance. The opposition, including DMDK, or Desya Morpoku Dravida Kalagam, General Secretary Premalata Vijayakant, strongly opposed the decision on the floor of the Assembly. This incident highlights the importance of transparency and accountability in government appointments, a key aspect of good governance. Key details of this incident include the swift revocation of the order, which came soon after the criticism was raised in the Assembly. The Chief Minister, C. Joseph Vijay, and his government faced opposition not just from outside but also from within, as TVK allies expressed their discontent. The DMDK, led by Premalata Vijayakant, was particularly vocal in its opposition, underscoring the need for merit-based appointments in key government positions. For UPSC aspirants, this incident is relevant to the topics of polity and governance, particularly in the context of the Indian Constitution's provisions regarding the role of the Chief Minister and the appointment of officials. In the prelims, questions could be asked about the specific details of the incident, such as the name of the astrologer appointed or the date of the revocation. In the mains, aspirants could be asked to analyze the implications of such appointments on the functioning of the government and the principles of good governance. The impact of this incident is multifaceted, affecting not just the government but also the public's perception of the role of superstition in governance. The swift revocation of the order suggests that the government is responsive to criticism, but it also raises questions about the initial decision-making process. Different stakeholders, including political parties, civil society, and the general public, may have varying perspectives on the issue, highlighting the need for nuanced analysis. The government's role in this incident is significant, as it underscores the importance of transparency and accountability in decision-making.
The Indian Constitution's provisions, such as Article 164, which deals with the appointment of the Chief Minister, and Article 166, which pertains to the conduct of, next up, a significant development has taken place in the United States, where a federal appeals court has temporarily halted a ruling that declared President Donald Trump's global 10% tariffs illegal. This decision has far-reaching implications for international trade and commerce. To understand the context, it's essential to know that President Trump imposed a temporary 10% duty in February, shortly after the Supreme Court struck down many of his global tariffs. The U.S. Court of International Trade, or CIT, had blocked the tariffs from being implemented against two companies and the state of Washington, with the decision set to take effect on May 12, 2026. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit has now issued a brief order, including an administrative stay on the CIT's order, setting a schedule for both sides to file briefs on the matter. This development is crucial, as it involves the interpretation of Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, which allows the President to impose tariffs to deal with balance of payments deficits. The 10% global tariff under Section 122 is valid until late July unless extended by Congress. The Trump administration has argued that if it issued refunds on the 10% global tariff only to have an appeals court uphold its position, it would be unable to pursue economic redress. For UPSC aspirants, this topic is relevant to the international relations and economy sections of the syllabus, particularly in the context of global trade agreements and tariffs. In the prelims, questions may be asked about the specifics of the tariffs, such as the percentage and the countries involved. In the mains, aspirants may be required to analyze the impact of such tariffs on India's trade relationships and the global economy. The concept of balance of payments deficits and the role of the President in imposing tariffs are also important aspects to consider. The Trump administration's move to impose tariffs has significant implications for various stakeholders, including trading partners, businesses, and consumers. India, being a major trading partner of the United States, may be affected by these tariffs, particularly in sectors such as textiles and pharmaceuticals. The Indian government may need to negotiate with the US to protect its trade interests. The US authorities have also opened investigations into dozens of trading partners over forced labor and overcapacity allegations, which could lead to fresh tariffs or other action. The US government's role in imposing tariffs is guided by its trade policies and laws, including the Trade Act. Shifting gears to, Chief Minister C. Joseph Vijay has successfully passed the trust vote in the Tamil Nadu Assembly, securing 144 votes in favor of his government.
This significant development comes after a dramatic session in the Assembly, marked by a walkout by the Dravida Munnetra Kalagam, or DMK, led by Udayamidi Stalin, and commotion caused by the All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kalagam, or AIA-DMK, rebel MLAs extending their support to Vijay's government. The trust vote was crucial for the newly formed government, as it needed to demonstrate its majority in the Assembly to continue in power. The situation arose after the previous government's collapse, leading to the formation of a new government under the leadership of Chief Minister C. Joseph Vijay. The Tamil Nadu Assembly has a total of 234 members, and the magic number to achieve a majority is 118. With 144 MLAs voting in favor, the government has comfortably crossed this threshold. Key details from the trust vote include the fact that 22 MLAs voted against the confidence motion, while 5 abstained. The walkout by the DMK, led by Udayanidhi Stalin, was a significant moment in the proceedings, as he criticized the government and questioned its legitimacy. The support extended by the AIA-DMK rebel MLAs, led by SP Velumani, was also a crucial factor in the government's success. For UPSC aspirants, this development is relevant to the polity and governance segment of the syllabus, particularly in the context of the Indian Constitution's provisions related to the formation and functioning of state governments. The trust vote is an important mechanism for ensuring that a government enjoys the confidence of the legislature, as mandated by Article 167 of the Constitution. Aspirants should note the significance of this event for both prelims and mains, as it highlights the complexities of coalition politics and the role of the opposition in a democratic system. The outcome of the trust vote will have significant implications for the state of Tamil Nadu, as the government will now be able to implement its policies and programs without facing immediate challenges to its legitimacy. However, the opposition, led by the DMK, is likely to continue to pose challenges to the government, both inside and outside the assembly. Aspirants should analyze the situation from multiple perspectives, considering the interests of various stakeholders, including the ruling party, the opposition, and the people of Tamil Nadu. The government's role in this situation is critical, as it must now demonstrate its ability. Also making headlines today, the Supreme Court of India has stayed an order by the Madras High Court, restraining TVK MLA R. Srinivasa Sethupathi from participating in the floor test in the Tamil Nadu Assembly. This decision is significant, as it highlights the ongoing dispute over the election result in the number 185 Terapatur Assembly constituency in Sivagangay district. The dispute began when Sethupathi won the election by a margin of just one vote against Dravida Munnetra Tamagam, or DMK, leader and former minister K.R. Periya Karupan.
Periya Karupan subsequently approached the Madras High Court, alleging irregularities in the counting process, including the rejection of a postal ballot that was mistakenly sent to another constituency. The Madras High Court then restrained Sethupathi from voting or participating in any floor test, confidence motion, or trust vote. The key details of this case are that Sethupathi had won the election by a single vote, and the Madras High Court's order was challenged in the Supreme Court through a special leave petition, or SLP, filed by Sethupathi. The Supreme Court, comprising Justices Vikram Nath, Sandeep Mehta, and Vijay Bishnoi, heard the petition and stayed the Madras High Court's order, calling it atrocious. The court also questioned how a writ petition challenging an election result could be maintained before the Madras High Court when the remedy is an election petition. This case is relevant to the UPSC syllabus, particularly in the context of polity and governance, as it involves the interpretation of election laws and the role of the judiciary in resolving electoral disputes. For prelims, aspirants should note the details of the case, including the names of the parties involved and the specific orders passed by the courts. For mains, aspirants can analyze the implications of this case on the functioning of state assemblies and the role of the judiciary in ensuring free and fair elections. The Supreme Court's decision has significant implications for the functioning of the Tamil Nadu Assembly and the stability of the state government. The court's order has been welcomed by the TVK party, while the DMK has expressed disappointment. The case highlights the importance of the judiciary in resolving electoral disputes and ensuring that the democratic process is upheld. The government's role in this case is limited, as the dispute is between two political parties and the judiciary. However, the case does highlight the need for effective election laws and procedures to prevent such disputes from arising in the future. The representation of In today's session, we covered 6 key stories, including Trump's visit to China, the U.S. cost of the Iran war, and the Tamil Nadu Assembly session. To recap, we discussed Trump's push for China to open up, the Pentagon's estimate of the Iran war cost nearing $29 billion, and CM Vijay's government revoking the order appointing an astrologer as OSD. Key points to remember include the implications of the U.S.-China summit, the economic burden of the Iran war, and the significance of trust votes in state assemblies. Don't forget to download the PDF notes available in the description and practice related previous year questions. Stay motivated and focused on your preparation journey. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe for daily updates. We wish you success in your UPSC preparation and look forward to guiding you through the exam process.